live stream. I'm just yammering on with Mitchell now about tornado coverage because we talk about this stuff all the time. if you check in on us behind the scenes and find us talking about sports, there'll be imposters because that's just not going to be us. We're going to be talking about weather all the time. That's how we are. All right, so here's what's up. So far, in Topeka, 3 inches of snow reported in the southwest side of town. That report's old. Builder Airport reported 4 inches of snow just about an hour ago. It's probably close to 5 now. Wamego has 5, Manhattan 4, Chapman 3.8. To the north, areas like Marysville have 4, Washington with about 5, but those numbers are going to come up. Down to the south, Emporia, that's a new report just a few minutes ago coming in from KVOE Radio. Of course, they're our radio partner there in Lyon County. Burlington, the official report, 1.9. Let's see what time that was. And that was just about 8 in the morning, so that's going to come up, but it's not an extreme number just yet, and it's going to come up probably a lot later on tonight. All right, so those are some of the snowfall reports so far. Now I want to show you as well something kind of odd going on. Look at this. Heavy snow, that's at US 81 and 24, and that is south of Concordia. So you see heavy snow. Now here's Concordia on the camera there in town from the roof of Cloud County Community College, part of our Midland Exterior Sky Cam network, and you can see all that snow, right? Just as well as me. Doesn't take a trained meteorologist or certified whatever to figure that out. That's heavy snow. Got it? Okay. Now let's go to the radar. Check this out. There's very little snow showing up on the radar there around Concordia. It's very light, and that's because the radar from Hastings, Nebraska is down. So it is not showing how heavy some of that snow is around Concordia. It's showing a bit better now down around the 24 and 81 area. That burst of heavier snow is showing up a little better now than it was. And we're seeing heavy snow from Topeka down to Eskridge and Emporia. Now the snow, kind of the back edge of it, is right there in central Kansas, and that is migrating eastward at roughly 30 to 40 miles per hour. So we still have several hours of this to go before we may find kind of a break later on in the evening. So there's 2 kind of batches there. There's that first one that has a back edge kind of near Russell, right along S70. This other version down here is what we were calling round 2 before, and that's going to continue building northeast through areas like Emporia and Osage City possibly, and certainly the Burlington area much of tonight. So it's going to be going on for many hours. While areas farther north, like Topeka and Concordia, Clay Center, likely to see some of the snow, most likely wrapping up later on this evening, at least for a while. But the stuff down in the south is probably going to continue snowing much of the night. So again, that area around Concordia, just look how heavy the snow is. Right across the highway there, Blosser Airport is not that far from this camera. The visibility there now is officially 1.3 miles. That report's got to be 15 minutes old or something, because that's not more than maybe a half mile. That's a very heavy snow there in Concordia right now. The temperature 2 and the wind chill is currently minus 11. Another version of the radar here, we'll zoom more close so you can see Topeka. The snow is coming down very heavily and will continue to do so for the next several hours. Backing up, Council Grove may have a break coming in shortly, and we'll see. But again, Topeka, likely to snow for at least the next 3 or 4 hours. I would expect that Topeka and Emporia, we're probably seeing an additional inch or 2 of snow between now and 7 p.m. There's a live look at Emporia. An hour ago, you could actually see some of the street there, not much. And there was a gentleman there on the left side of the street. I believe that's at the Crest Center that was clearing that snow off, and now it's kind of covered back up the same area all over again. This is in Council Grove. You can't see more than a mile there. The town itself is kind of on the right middle of that shot. This camera itself is on the east side of town. Wind chill values are terrible. 11 below in Topeka, 11 below in Concordia. The worst I saw was last night when Concordia touched minus 19. That was just after 10 p.m. last night. And the reason the wind chill is not as bad as it was is the wind itself is not quite as strong as it was. Still gusting 14 miles per hour in Council Grove. Temperatures are still terrible, but because the wind is not as rough, the wind chill is not as bad as it was. So 2 right now in Concordia, 3 in Manhattan, 4 in Topeka, and we continue to see that heavy snow. And I've got some of these cameras in here a couple of times. I was just focusing on them over and over again. All right, here's one of the computer models. And I'm going to back it up here. And that's up to now. And what you'll see is the computer model wants to end this snow a little sooner than reality. So I don't believe that in 55 minutes this snow is going to come to an end. So that computer model is going to have to be just kicked out. Is that the graph?
The HER?
I think that's the graph. I'm going to have to bring it up and see what that one is. Actually, I'll just deselect it.
What was the extended HER?
You think so?
Yeah.
I think it was the graph because it had so many frames. I think the HER is going to have 1 per hour. I think that was the reason I think it was the graphs because it was so smooth, but it was bad. This model is the one that we were looking at earlier. This is the one we think that has a better handle on reality, and it shows the snow lasting probably through midnight in areas like Clay Center, and then coming to an end in Topeka by midnight or so. But areas like Emporia, Burlington continue to snow through tomorrow morning. So areas like Topeka, like Emporia, Burlington, Yates Center, down to Ottawa and Eureka, those areas would have a higher chance of seeing higher additional snow totals on top of what's already happened because you'll have more hours of the snow still falling. So on top of what's already out there, this is additional on top of what's already happened. The computer model right now is still showing Topeka with an additional 2 inches of snow and areas like Burlington with an additional 3 inches of snow, but that might be underdone. The reason I say it might be underdone is because when temperatures are this cold, the snow tends to pile up faster than a 10-to-1 ratio, and this computer model tends to assume that however much moisture it has, that it's probably going to get 10 times that for the amount of snow. So what in the world am I talking about here? What I'm saying is that if we had the computer model indicating that there was 1 inch of liquid to work with, the computer would assume that that 1 inch of liquid would become 10 inches of snow. So in this case, computer is saying, hey, I have 2/10 of an inch of liquid, and I'm going to make all snow out of that. So it's thinking 2 inches of snow is what's possible. What we're looking at is the temperatures are so cold, near zero at the surface, and about 15 to 20 degrees below Celsius at cloud level. So that tends to make the ratio something like 12 or 20 to 1 instead of 10. So this computer model is probably underdone at this point for how much additional snow is possible. So areas like Burlington, 4 or 5 is possible on top of what's already happened. Topeka, probably 2 or 3 instead of just 2. Areas like Marysville, Concordia. For Marysville, Concordia, again, that radar up around Hastings, it's a KUEX. If you're looking at, if you're somebody that's is a hobby meteorologist, or you study weather, just study weather as a hobby, or just find it interesting. If you are the type that just knows enough that you know to switch between radar sources, KUEX is the Hastings, Nebraska Weather Service radar. It's offline. And I've been showing folks over and over again for the last couple of hours that Concordia is snowing pretty hard, and it's been showing that there's nothing falling up there. So the computer model is kind of disregarding what's actually going on up there. And I do expect to see a couple of more inches of snow in areas like Concordia and Washington and Marysville, even though it's not showing up in some of the computer models. Now, it'll probably end sooner up there than other spots, but keep in mind the snow is likely to be more heavy up there than some of the computer models are indicating. On Supercast, watch out for the next couple of days. I'm going to back up again on this and show you that wind chill for Monday morning. So we have the wind chill is awful through the weekend. You already know that. But as we get to Monday morning, if the kids are heading to school, and a lot of them will be, look at the wind chill. So it's possible we could have some schools with delayed starts or even cancellations for a snow day just because of the wind chill there. So extremely cold air expected for another day on Monday. So we're doing first alert weather day today and tomorrow. Monday, we could see some kids missing school. Look at Springfield on Monday morning with a wind chill of minus 25 degrees. Mitchell, what do you have?
All right, if we could have Max 2 up, and I will go through the forecast. Overall, right now on our Prairie Band Casino and Resort live storm tracker, we are seeing a large winter storm stretching across a majority of the country. Currently, snow from around New Mexico to around the Carolinas and Virginia, all the way up to Illinois and Indiana. So we are seeing a major winter storm across the United States right now. And as we zoom on into the state of Kansas, overall, we are seeing some snow in northeastern Kansas and southeast Kansas right now along the I-35 corridors and the I-70 corridors. Overall, 4 degrees right now in Topeka in northeast Kansas, 4 in Emporia, 3 in Manhattan, 7 in Clay Center, 2 in Concordia. So it is quite frigid right now, and it will continue to be this way. We have heavier bands of snow from around Concordia to Manhattan to Topeka, and then down from Topeka to Emporia. So overall, snowfall rates are pretty high right now coming down throughout the area. There also is an area of our viewing area that isn't showing up on radar, and that's because of an issue with the radar source in Hastings, Nebraska. So I just wanted to note that for y'all, because we have had some reports that there is snow in Concordia, but it's not showing up on radar. And so that is why, as Jeremy explained earlier, and we are continuing to see snow moving from the southeast to the north, or the southwest to the northeast overall. Advisories, watches, and warnings. We have 2,323 miles of advisories, watches, and warnings throughout the United States, from Arizona all the way up to Maine. And now we even have some along the northern border from Billings to Minneapolis to Chicago for cold air, because it is very frigid with this Arctic air mass that's bringing all of this inclement weather to us. And as we zoom in on Kansas, you can see the cold weather advisories and also the winter storm warnings, just how massive they are. And we do have that winter storm warning until tomorrow around lunchtime overall. So we have that, and then the northern part of our viewing area has a winter weather advisory until tomorrow around lunchtime as well. Those were actually extended 6 hours. I think the thinking is that there could be snow into the morning, which some of the models show, so they probably extended it because of that. Overall cold weather advisory, there is a cold weather advisory till Monday at around 12 p.m., and that's for wind chills in the negatives, even past -10 degrees or lower. So we could see that as we go throughout tomorrow into Monday as well. Overall, right now, Midland exterior skycam in downtown Topeka. The snow is coming down. The streets are white as can be. We have had plows on the road plowing the streets. As you can see, one of them just below that stoplight. That's going to continue as we go throughout the evening into the overnight hours. It's still going to be a picturesque tundra scene here in northeastern Kansas. And really, cars have cleared out from downtown Emporia as the snow is coming down pretty hard there right now. And from Manhattan, you can see just how heavy that band of snow is there. Visibility is likely less than a quarter of a mile right now. You can see a couple cars in the parking lot. Those may be plows, but you can barely see the signage on the Kansas State University football stadium, Bill Snyder Family Stadium. So that is how strong the snow is coming down currently. And you also can see that lack of visibility in Concordia currently, with just the tree line being shrouded with that snow. And it really looks foggy of sorts because of the lack of visibility right now. And there's just a lot of snow on the ground as well. From Midland exterior skycam in Council Grove, you can see that snow as well. The lack of visibility off in the distance, and the snow really starting to pile up where the grasses are taller, which that's an indicator that we're starting to get higher amounts of accumulation. Midland exterior skycam in Maple Hill, overall seeing the same thing on those tall grass fields. And as you can see from West Topeka, a strong band still coming through here. Visibility not great from the camera there. And that is Wanamaker and the bridge over Wanamaker over I-70. So it is coming down here still in Topeka. From closer to the ground in Nodo, you can see that the visibility is lacking off in the distance. You can see a train rolling by. Thankfully, It's not a people train, it's a goods train. So all those goods are making their way through the area, and people aren't getting out and enjoying the area today because it's not very enjoyable here today. But usually Topeka is a great place to be. And if you're not from here, I would definitely recommend visiting. As you can see, snow throughout the park and snow throughout the streets, plows coming through as well. Holton right now from Banner Creek Science Center starting to see a little accumulation in those taller grass areas, and then the accumulation down on the bottom of the screen. Dew points are currently in the negative degree range, -2 in Topeka, -2 in Emporia, -2 in Manhattan, -3 in Concordia. Our relative humidity values are in the 70th and 80th percentile and in the 60th percentile in Council Grove. So relative humidity, the higher it is really beneficial to have relative humidity or humidity to produce snow. And we currently have that, which is why we are seeing these bands of snow forming, and really we're not drying out as fast. But you can see the relative humidity is dropping in a place like Council Grove currently. So it is starting to dry out there, at least as that band ends there. Wind chills overall along I-70, -12 degrees in Topeka, -8 in Abilene, -7 in Clay Center, -14 in Concordia, -13 in Manhattan, -11 in Emporia. So it's just very chilly. It's almost blistering type of chilly that we have currently outside. I know I went outside. You definitely need chapstick if you go outside and stay out there too long. You definitely need to have those gloves, a jacket, multiple layers, probably some of those warmer clothes that you wear under your clothes as well. And as we take a look at our current wind speeds, between around 5 and 15 miles per hour currently. Our current wind gusts are between around 5 and 15 as well. Those winds have calmed down a little bit from this morning, and our wind gust will really stay calmer as we go throughout the next couple days. May pick up briefly tomorrow before on Monday we start seeing the wind gusts really pick up going into Monday night and Tuesday morning. Overall, the wind chills will be a little bit more bearable than they were earlier today. They'll be in the single-digit negatives, so that's a bright side as far as that goes, is that they're not in the double-digit negatives anymore. But we are still looking at those negative wind chill values. So I'm sorry to bring you that news if you're not enjoying this blistering and dangerous cold. I'm not enjoying it either, but I just have to deliver the news because I'm the meteorologist. 24-hour temperatures overall in these single digits, as you can see, throughout the next 24 hours until around 3 p.m., where we finally get into the double digits back in the positive category. Tonight's forecast overall, we're expecting to be in the negative category of temperatures in Topeka. -1 for your low in Topeka, 1 in Emporia, -1 in Manhattan, -2 in Clay Center, -4 in Concordia, and we will be snowy continuing into the night in certain parts of the area. Tomorrow's forecast overall, 15 in Topeka, around 13 in Emporia, 16 in Manhattan, 20 in Concordia, 18 in Abilene, mostly cloudy. That could limit temperatures and how much they rise. Monday, we will be in the teens and 20s overall, a little cooler on the east side of the area and a little warmer on the western side of the area with sunny skies. So that's a happy thought. It's going to be sunnier as we go into Monday. And our supercast showing that some of that snow ends. Right now, we're unsure if it actually will end or if it will just be lighter than the banding. A lot of times these models show that the heavier bands show up on the model data, and then the flurries and the lighter snow usually kind of dissipate or don't show up in the resolution. So that's what we're thinking is going to happen. Maybe some of the heavier stuff moves out, but we will still be seeing flurries and snow as we go throughout the evening. So don't say, oh, it stopped snowing, because it will continue to snow even with the flurries. That is still snow, and we will have wind chills in the negative still, and temperatures in the single digits overall through the night and into tomorrow before we start rising in temperatures going into the afternoon. Overall wind chills finally, after almost 72 hours, get above the 0-degree mark, and then they get right back below that mark once again going into Monday. As you can see, we will be around -15 to -20 degrees potentially on Monday morning at times. So if your kids are heading out to school, you will need to bundle them up. That will be preached over the next day or so on the weathercast, because it is important. You'll need to bundle up even on Monday morning after the snow stops falling. So we will want you to bundle up. As we go throughout Monday, a little bit warmer, then a little bit warmer on Tuesday. We'll see temperatures in the 30s by Tuesday. Overall, our other model, the Euro, it's a little bit lower resolution, but it's showing where I was saying those flurries continuing even after the actual heavier snow bands move out. We continue to see some lighter snowfall as we go throughout the evening hours, continuing to see accumulations probably around 2 to 3 inches. And so we really could continue to see that overall. And we will see that move out as we go throughout tomorrow. Then there's this little short wave. It's a smaller area in the atmosphere that's going to bring snow to some of western Kansas. As it moves to the southeast, it maybe could scrape some of the area. I doubt it, but I just wanted to make that disclaimer that there could be some winds, could be some clouds along with the short wave, but it will be late into Monday morning. So I would not really worry about that too much. It will dissipate as it moves south, really evaporating overall. And then we see more clouds on Tuesday with maybe another disturbance, but overall that disturbance won't cause problems. Maybe another disturbance of some type coming through as we go into Thursday, not going to cause problems either, staying dry around here. Overall, this is our possible snowfall map. It's still on track to be met, 4 to 8 inches from Kansas City to Holton, to Burlington, to Topeka, to Manhattan, to Emporia, to Council Grove, to Abilene and Salina, and then 2 to 4 inches for areas from Hiawatha, Seneca, and Marysville, Concordia, just north of Clay Center. Then just south of Burlington in Coffee County could see those higher amounts. Right now, there's been some dry air limiting how much snow has fallen just to our south in southeastern Kansas. So those also could not be met, but that second wave still hasn't come down there. So we are watching for those areas as well. And y'all are not being left out of the party with snow. Winter Storm Severity Index, overall minor. Obviously, we do have some impacts on the roads, but to life itself, we're not seeing a ton as we go throughout the next day or so. 8-day forecast overall, you can see winter storm, snow and wind chills of -15 degrees, and we do have that first alert weather day for today, and then we have one for tomorrow, and then we have the morning snow and wind chills of -10 degrees. We have temperatures in the single digits, then the teens, and negative lows for the next 2 days. Monday, wind chills of -10 degrees, a little bit warmer and sunny. Will be a little sunnier on Tuesday as well in the 30s through the midweek days. And then as we go through the end of the week, we'll be in the 20s with single digit lows, because we do have those couple of disturbances coming through. And by the end of the week, going into Saturday, we will see temperatures return to the 30s. But overall, looking marginal that we may not see temperatures above freezing right now. Depending on how much snow ends up falling, these temperatures could be adjusted, and it could be a period of a week that we could see temperatures just around freezing or at or below freezing because of that snowpack. Right now, we could adjust that data, but right now there are some temperatures that are just above it.
All right, go ahead and take us back to Max 1, guys. Max 1. All right, thank you very much. That's still Max 2. Max 1, there you go. All right. So Seneca reports a little while ago coming in from emergency management. They say they have 4 inches of snow on the ground now. Marysville, 4.3. Washington, 5. Those reports are a little older. In Marysville, Washington, I think those numbers are probably higher by now. Getting into Manhattan, Wamego, we've got 4 and 5 inches of snow in Topeka. The report at Billard Airport is 4 inches. I think it's probably closer to 5 at this point. 3 from Lake Sherwood was a couple of hours ago. Emporia with 5.5. That's from KVOE radio. That was about an hour ago. Still snowing there. And then once you get down to the Wichita area, it's 3 to 5 inches of snow. There's a higher number near Beloit at 7 inches of snow. And we've still got more that's falling across the area right now. Now, as we check out the view from KDOT, Can Drive, this is at Highway 81 and 24. Very heavy snow still coming down in that area. And and as we check out Concordia, it's a little farther north of that. The visibility is just terrible. It's not sunset yet, but looking out there from Concordia, it looks like it's getting there. We still have about 2 hours of daylight left, and really looking to the east-southeast from that camera in Concordia, we're looking over toward Blosser Airport, and the visibility is less than a mile. It's certainly not a full mile at this point there, with the heavy snow still coming down. You can see a car there driving by Cloud County Community College. And it's hard to pick out where the road even is. There's so much snow there. And please, those rental bicycles there in the foreground. Nobody's using those today. There's the hospital across the street, and you can still see the flags are moving a bit there in the wind. But the snow coming on heavily enough, you really can't see across the street. Highway 81 is not visible now. So visibility is 0.8 of a mile. At Blosser Airport. That's the official stat from across the highway there, from the airport there in Concordia. And the wind chill still feels like 14 degrees below zero. So I just showed you it is snowing heavily in Concordia. And look at the radar. It shows nothing falling in Concordia. And you could see as well as I could there that it is snowing. The issue being that the radar from Hastings, Nebraska is not operational. That thing is broken for some reason. I don't know why, but it is not operational. So check out another view. This is near Belleville in Republic County, and the snow is not super heavy there, but you can see snow. If you look over at this sign here on the right, you can still see snow is falling there. There's a snowplow coming in the highway down 81, clearing off a bunch of snow, and thank you to these people. That's a dangerous job, and they work a lot of hours clearing these roads for us. So thank you to the snowplow operators. Please don't crowd the plow, and all that stuff. Just give them space to do their work. Be patient. They really keep us going through storms like this. But checking out the radar, as I was going to mention, is around Belleville. There's nothing showing up on the radar at all, and that's because that radar at Blue Hill, Nebraska, is offline. With that radar offline, it means that these areas up to the north are not showing up as having snow because what you have is a composite of radars that will cover those areas. So we have this radar near Alma, a radar near Pleasant Hill, Missouri, Wichita, Omaha, Goodland, Dodge City. None of those radars are close enough to see down low to where the snow is actually falling. And that data gets kicked into a computer model, which then tells us how much snow we think is going to fall. So the snow around Concordia, Belleville, Washington, Marysville, the snow is going to overperform what the computer models have been telling us because it's just not ingesting where the snow actually is. So if you're around Belleville or Concordia and wondering why in the world does it look like it's snowing out, well, it is snowing, but why is it not showing up on radar? It's because that radar at KUEX, which is the radar at Hastings, Nebraska, is down. As check out the radar in Emporia right now. This is downtown at the Lyon County History Center, and you can see the Crest Center there across the street from the History Center. And these folks have been working hard to clear that snow. There were two guys right in front of this building just about 2 hours ago clearing the snow off, and it looks like they weren't even there. So they're going to have to clear this thing again. Emporia State University is just kind of in the upper right of that shot to kind of get your bearings about what we're looking at here. But that's what you're looking at is downtown Emporia, where the snow is coming down heavily, and certainly can't see more than a mile there. In Council Grove, this camera's on the east side of town. The folks from TCT Broadband Solutions putting this camera up, and it's a great view across Council Grove, but we can't see more than a mile there. Wind chill values ranging from as good as -5 in Hiawatha to as bad as -14 in Concordia now. So extremely cold with winds that are gusting from the northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Temperatures are ranging from 1 to 5. And here's Supercast. Now, I do expect to see the snow continuing for several hours. Topeka, it's been snowing for a while, and I've been saying for a bit that I think we'll see an additional inch or two of snow pretty widespread by 7 p.m., so eating some of that time up. So if I keep saying the same thing, it means on top of what's already fallen. But the snow will continue to accumulate, no doubt. There's 11 p.m., still snowing in Topeka and still snowing in Emporia. Areas like Yates Center, Burlington could easily see an additional 3 or 4 inches of snow out of this by sunrise tomorrow morning. By 6 a.m. on Sunday, most of the snow is gone. Now, I've adjusted the computer model upward a little bit to give a better indication of how much snow I think is going to fall here. So in Topeka, from right now until the end of this, we're at additional 2 or 3 in Topeka. Burlington, additional 3 or 4. Emporia, additional 3 or 4. And remember, Emporia is already at 5.5. Some additional 3 on top, that's going to get them in the 8 category. Burlington's official total so far was 1.9. I'm not sure if that's actually what's there now, but that's the latest report that we got. The areas around Concordia, even though I've been kind of griping about or harping on or pointing out, however you want to say it, I keep talking about that radar up there is broken. I still think you'll see an additional inch of snow around Concordia and Marysville. You've already seen significant snow. Marysville's already had about 4 inches. Washington's had 5. So we were looking at a 2 to 4 inch range up here, and you've already outperformed that with this snowstorm. It's already come in the high end, and in some spots gone above our forecast there. But again, these spots like Topeka, it's still going to snow for several more hours. We've got snow backed up all the way past Abilene, and it's coming east, so it's going to stay with us. And there's snow all the way down to south central Kansas and Oklahoma that's feeding northeast, and that stuff is most likely to cut off somewhere on Burlington, Emporia, maybe Osage City tonight. But there'll still be more snow coming up from the southwest, is what I'm saying, from parts of south central Kansas and parts of Oklahoma. So wind chill values, jumping ahead, this is Monday morning. If your kids have school Monday morning, most of them do, of course. My kids have school on Monday. They've been sick the last couple of days and missed some school, but they've got their homework already. I'm hoping they're better by Monday morning. They need to get out the door and get to class. But look at this, Monday morning, a wind chill of minus 11. They could have the wind chill as cold as minus 20. You can see over here on the computer model, it's got minus 20 in St. Louis, Springfield minus 25. This could be easily a wind chill of minus 20 here, so we need to watch out for that. There's a possibility of having some schools, and I'm not guaranteeing this. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I am not a superintendent of school. I'm not a decision maker for closing schools, but I've seen this movie before. I've been here for a quarter century. so the possibility is there that you could have some schools go with a late start. That could happen. You might have somebody cancel school because the roads are still covered in snow and the wind chill is minus 10, minus 20. They may close school for that. But just, again, I'm not saying they're going to close schools. I'm not saying they're going to do this. I'm just saying that you should be prepared and check WIBW.com under the closing section and just see, just maybe, if you have some impact on your schools on Monday morning. That's a real possibility. And again, the conditions are right that that's something that could be coming at us. Just be ready for that. All right, again, the computer models keep us in the snow the next several hours. We've got temperatures that are only in the single digits and wind chill values that are still some 10 to 15 degrees below zero, and we're still seeing these batches of heavy snow. This is Council Grove. I can now see more than a mile, so the snow looks like it's not stopping in Council Grove, but it's not as intense as it was a few minutes ago, so a little bit less snow there. Emporia, still coming down heavily. Again, these folks were working very hard to clear the sidewalk there in front of that Crest Center in downtown Emporia about an hour ago, and it looks like they weren't even there. The snow was already covering it up again. Now on the radar, again, I said that around Council Grove, it looks like it's not stopping, but it's let up a little bit, and you can see that kind of lighter coloration there in Morris County. See some more development, looks like, possibly there, just around Garden City. And then up here on the radar in areas around Concordia and Belleville, that part of the radar is just not reliable right now because of the KUEX is down at this point. All right, I'm going to check out the storm reports again here, and then we'll let Mitchell run for a couple minutes as well. But on the storm reports, how much snow have we seen across the area? There's Concordia again, where you can't see across the highway still. So we got 4 inches of snow in Seneca. The Weather Service at Billard Airport reported 4 inches of snow. It's not on the map yet, but that's what they said they've got so far. It's probably close to 5 now. Over to Ozaki, we got 3.5. McLouth has 4. Emporia has 5.5. That's the report from KVOE. Up here to the north, we were looking at a 2 to 4 inch range for Washington and Marysville. Washington has 5 and still snowing. Marysville has 4.3 and still snowing. So you have outperformed the forecast up there. Beloit, 7 inches of snow. That's how much snow Beloit had. That is higher than any of the forecasts up in that area we're going to go. We got Wamego and Manhattan with 4 and 5 inches of snow. And again, the snow continuing to fall. And as we check out the view from KDOT, again near Belleville, still snowing fairly heavily. As we check out KDOT down I-70, that's Solomon, so we're getting over close to Salina at this point, and there's a still frame of, I'm not sure if that wrecker is carrying somebody or if it's just a still frame that happened to catch them. If we go far enough down I-70, you'll find the snow tapers off. That's near Walker. Not snowing as heavily there, still snowing there at that exit. Near Hayes, it's just snow flurries, so it does come to an end out in central and western Kansas, but it's quite a ways out there. And again, we've seen this view from Concordia where it's still snowing heavily at this point. Mitchell, what do you got?
All right, if we could have Max 2, please, if we already have it. All right, we already have it, so I'll just take you through the forecast again. Prairie Band Casino and Resort currently showing we have a massive winter storm across much of the United States right now, from around New Mexico all the way out to around North Carolina and Virginia, all the way up to Chicago in Illinois and Indiana right now. So overall, just a big swath of the country dealing with these conditions. And it is going to be a hassle if you're traveling over the next couple days, basically anywhere, because of how it's impacting airports, how it's impacting roadways. It's just a mess right now. Ice from around Tennessee to Texas, all the way into West Texas as well, which will be a danger to driving overall. Prairie Band Casino and Resort, we currently are seeing that the local storm report in Cloud County in Delphos, 4 miles northeast of Delphos, has reported actually a 8-inch total of snow. So right here where the band is currently not appearing, as Jeremy has said it, there has actually been a report of 8 inches up there. So we are really keying in on the bands that have moved through the northern part of the area now, because they have produced high snowfall totals. They're producing the higher snowfall totals. As I said, a band of around 8 inches of snow throughout the past 24 hours or so has dumped itself around Concordia and Delphos. And so we are paying attention to just how much snow is falling along the northern corridor of I-70, because it is overperforming overall to what the forecast initially was. And we still are seeing snow to the south overall in areas like Emporia, a little bit lighter now, still a little bit heavy in Topeka, Manhattan, and Holton right now. And that will continue to move east to the northeast as well. The areas around Council Grove that we were talking about drying out, as we said, it's going to fill back in, and they have started to fill back in partly with some flurries. It's also because the resolution from the radar is picking up some of that moisture better as the precipitation moves up our way. But right now, we are seeing that heavy snow across northeastern Kansas. 4 degrees in Topeka right now, 4 in Emporia, 3 in Manhattan, 1 in Concordia. So very chilly. That snow is having an impact on those temperatures right now. But once again, we did have that report of 8 inches of snow out to the west around Concordia. We do have a lot of advisories, watches, and warnings for this winter storm. Anywhere from around Arizona all the way up to Maine is dealing with some of these winter weather advisories, watches, and warnings. And that is a total of 2,323 miles that are under those advisories, watches, and warnings right now. And we're under just a couple here in northeastern Kansas and parts of Kansas as well. Cold weather advisory for basically the whole state. We then have that winter storm warning for much of the eastern side of the state. We do have that winter storm warning until tomorrow around lunchtime, and that was extended from around 6 a.m. earlier. As you can see, advisories, watches, and warnings, we will see that winter weather advisory last until lunchtime tomorrow as well. So we are watching for that. Cold weather advisory overall last until around lunchtime on Monday. So it will remain cold. We'll have those dangerous wind chills. You'll want to bundle up, cover your extremities such as your hands and your feet as we go throughout the next couple days, especially as the areas where they are more prone to freezing will be under a greater threat of freezing overall. As you can see, overall, our Midland exterior sky cam right now in downtown Topeka, you can see that we have a blanket of snow down there with flakes flying. Currently, quite a few cars on the street actually, which I don't know if that's the best idea, but I really would not recommend it, but I also can't control what other people do. So that is the own prerogative of people who end up going out. Midland exterior sky cam in downtown Emporia. Currently not a lot of cars down there. Seeing a couple plows on the street, as you can see maybe in the background. But overall, really not a lot of people out. Visibility is lower down there, and flakes are flying and building up on the ground. Manhattan, look at just the visibility in Manhattan right now. That snow is coming down. It's shrouding out the camera that we currently have out there. And the same story from Concordia right now. Visibility is not great out in Concordia either. Snow is still falling, and it's falling in droves right now and not waning anytime soon currently. As we can see from our Midland exterior sky cam in Council Grove, snow is still coming down there even though the radar may show it's drying out in parts of Council Grove. Not seeing that from where we can see with our own eyes. So we will trust what we have with our own eyes first before we trust the radar. And the Maple Hill camera currently showing that snow is coming down there. And snow is starting to accumulate between those tall grasses, which is just something to note. The totals are getting higher and higher and accumulating upwards. So it's starting to accumulate around those tall grasses that usually stick upwards and out. Right now, visibility's improved in western Topeka right now. You can see Wanamaker. It's covered with snow right now that exits onto I-70 from the I-70 bridge over the interstate across Wanamaker. And so overall, we are starting to see a little bit of a let off here in western Topeka just currently from this view. From Noda right now, not as heavy right now there either. We do have snow along the street right now. Cars also parked along the street. Train coming through again. A train was coming through around 20 minutes ago as well. And from Holton, snow is coming down there as well with a heavier band currently. Dew points currently are in the single digit negatives, -2 for your dew point in Topeka, -2 in Emporia, -2 in Manhattan, -3 out in Concordia. So the air just does kind of feel dry. You'll want to grab that chapstick if your lips get chapped easily from all of the snow that is currently falling and all of the cold temperatures and wind chills. Relative humidity still in the 70th and 80th percentile for most of the area, besides Council Grove, currently in the 60th percentile with a little bit more drier air. But a lot of that snow production is overcoming that lack of relative humidity currently, as we are seeing on our cameras. Wind chills currently between around 5 and around 15 under 0 degrees. So we're in the negatives right now, -12 in Topeka, -11 in Emporia, -13 in Manhattan, -14 out in Concordia. The lowest we saw so far in the past couple days was -19 out in Concordia. And there was a very big section along I-70 with really deep into the negative teens as well at that time. Current wind speeds are between around 5 and 15 miles per hour, so they have let off a little bit, and our current wind gusts are between around 10 and 15 miles per hour overall. Those will wind down a little bit before picking up partly as we go into the morning hours tomorrow morning, picking up maybe going into the evening as well, leveling off a little bit overnight. Then we get into Monday morning and starting to pick up throughout the day, going into Monday night and Tuesday morning overall. 24-hour wind chills will be in the single-digit negatives from -8 degrees to -4 degrees by 1 p.m. tomorrow, then around 0 at 3 p.m. as we start to warm up just a little bit. 24-hour temperatures going from around 7 degrees now to around 9 degrees by 1 p.m. tomorrow, then kicking up to around 12 degrees. Probably going to have more sunlight by then, which is why the temperatures increase slightly. Tonight's forecast overall, -1 in Topeka, very cold, 1 degree in Emporia, -1 in Manhattan, -4 out in Concordia. We will be snowy. That is obviously part of the forecast. Tomorrow's forecast, overall, we will be in the teens and 20s, 15 in Topeka, 13 in Emporia, 16 in Manhattan, 20 in Concordia. We will be mostly cloudy overall as well. Monday's forecast, you'll like this. It's a little bit warmer. We'll be in the teens and the 20s, almost reaching the 30s finally, and we will be sunny as well. So a little bit more sunlight, but it will still be very frigid, and it will feel even colder than the actual temperatures. Overall, from our supercast, you can see it's frigid out there, single-digit temperatures, negative single-digit wind chills. We see that snow really somewhat weighing off on the models, but there will still be flurries where these clouds remain as the moisture is squeezing out of the sky. And we will see some of that as we go throughout this evening into tonight around midnight before it levels off. We will definitely see more of that snow heavier down towards our southern part of our viewing area. It will be a little bit warmer as we go into tomorrow and into Monday as well. As you can see, our Euro, as we suspect from the other model that I just showed, does keep that snow through around the early morning hours before moving out as we go into the morning hours and into the afternoon. Tomorrow, at the latest, I think the snow will be out of here by 10 a.m. tomorrow, and that probably is a good time frame to expect flakes to stop falling. And then we could, just to the west of the area, see a little bit of snow going into early Monday morning. Maybe winds pick up a little bit, as I said, going into Monday morning as well with a little cloud cover. But most of this mass right here will stay out to our west and then to our southwest as well before moving off to our east. We'll be clear as we go throughout the week. Overall, seeing some clouds maybe on Tuesday as well. Those clouds clear out. Another disturbance brings some more cloud cover. Right now, not a lot of precipitation forecasted with these disturbances that come throughout the week. Just maybe some winds and maybe some clouds along with them, and maybe some colder air as well. Possible snowfall totals overall still verifying near the totals that we are expected to verify near the totals that we're seeing or predicted overall. Possible snowfall 4 to 8 inches in areas like Kansas City, Holton, Ottawa, Osage City, Emporia, Manhattan, and Abilene, and 2 to 4 expected. However, that probably will, since we did receive that 8-inch report, that would be more accurate to include Concordia, but it's just along the line that we have right here. So it has verified pretty well so far overall. And then we have that area to the south. Right now, not as much snow has fallen to the south, but you still have that second wave and even to finish the first wave. So we still have parts of the first wave to come for the purples areas in 8 to 10. And then we have the second wave also. So you're likely going to see that 8 to 10 inch mark be met down there. You're likely to see that 4 to 8 inch mark be met here. And we've received the word that we have some 8-inch marks all the way up here where heavier snow has fallen as well. So that definitely has verified for the most part as well near Clay Center and Concordia. Overall, winter storm severity index, we are seeing minor impacts. Overall, that is mainly for just the ability to live. There are a lot more interruptions to daily and normal life down to our south where the storms have been much heavier. We have the blessing of having plows and the ability to also drive in the snow for the most part. People are better equipped up here and better trained as well, fortunately, for the most part. 8-day forecast overall, 2 first alert weather days. One today for snow and wind chills of minus 15 degrees or less. And then tomorrow for morning snow and wind chills of minus 10 degrees or less. Wind chill of minus 10 degrees or less on Monday, but we don't have a first alert weather day for then. But you want to really make sure to bundle up Monday morning with those wind chills being where they are. And then we'll warm up partly going throughout Tuesday and Wednesday before a little cool off with a disturbance that comes through Wednesday night, bringing a little cooler temperatures before warming back up into the weekend once again. Jeremy?
All right, Mitchell, go ahead and bring me over to Max 1. Thank you. And as we look outside live from WIBW, the Midland Exterior Sky Cam Network, folks at WIBW Telecom, this camera is right at their office and takes several different views there. Of course, WIBW Boomtown. If you haven't seen that, that is something else. My calendar always has that for for July 4th. But as we look outside live from WIBW, you can see the snow coming down heavily. I want to check out the snowfall reports. As Mitchell mentioned, we do have that 8-inch snow report that's a couple of miles northeast of Delphos, and that's right on the county line from the south edge of Cloud County. And then Beloit had 7 inches of snow. That one also is a big one. Concordia hasn't given us a value yet, but we've been showing it repeatedly. And up here around Washington and Marysville, we've got 4 and 5 inches of snow, but these are old reports. Let's check out how old Washington is. That's from 10:30 in the morning. So what do we got? 2 hours will be up to 12:30. You know, really going to, what, 6 hours ago? I mean, that's been a while. Marysville, that's at 9:30. That's even longer ago. And it's been snowing in these areas this whole time. So the idea that, you know, we got 4 and 5 inches of snow up there, it's almost surely more than that. Seneca, that report's about an hour ago from emergency management. I just showed you WIBW, where it's still snowing heavily. They had 5 inches of snow as of 11, officially 2 miles southwest of Louisville, but you can see the report right there is, I don't know why they would say Louisville. Here, look at this on the map. You can look at it with me. There's Louisville up here. You're calling it 2 miles southwest of Louisville, which puts it, I don't know, 4 blocks outside of WIBW. So sometimes these reports are a little confusing. There's Manhattan, that report 11:30 in the morning with 4 inches of snow. That report's dated. We're going to have a bunch of reports coming in this evening that'll almost surely have bigger numbers. Emporia, that's a pretty recent report, about an hour and a half ago from KVOE, and it says 10:30 a.m. I don't think it came in that it wasn't that late in the day. All right, so Topeka, we have a report from Billard Airport that is 4 inches of snow so far. And the snow is still coming down heavily in many spots. That's Highway 81 and 24 in Cloud County, where the snow is still coming down heavily right now. So look out in Concordia. Again, the visibility there is terrible. The snow is coming down heavy. You've got visibility of a mile and a temperature of 2 with a wind chill of minus 14. And I've beat on this over and over again that the radar is just not showing anything around Concordia because KUEX is out of commission. So I don't know why that is. It's something going on there. Software upgrade, something's physically broken. They have not sent me an email letting me know why the radar up there for the Hastings Weather Service is out of commission. I have no idea, but I am telling you that that lack of radar is probably part of the reason why we got these bigger snowfall totals up there to the north, and the forecast was for lower than 8 inches of snow. I don't recall any of us in the last 24 hours yelling about 8 inches of snow for the Delphos area or 7 inches for Beloit, and areas around Marysville and Washington also going above 4 inches. Now, we are expecting to see the snow continuing for several hours. Some of the computer models were indicating a break this evening, and from what I'm seeing there, I don't see a whole lot of breaks showing up. And if you're calling me right now, we're not answering. I can't. I'm not answering right now. Okay, so checking out the radar here, this is an interesting feature. So we look in there. There's all kinds of areas of snow. All right, so backing up, we've got more of the snow coming to the northeast, coming toward areas like Burlington and Emporia. You're probably going to see snow almost all night. This batch of snow that extends into central Kansas near Salina seems like it was going to get out of here by 7 or 8 o'clock, but it almost looks like it's back building here. I'm going to take it back farther. Let's go back 3 hours if I can. I'm not sure I have the data to go back that far. Maybe I do. Okay. So let's look at the last 3 hours here and see how much progress we made over 3 hours. And yeah, I'd say it's not fully back building, but it's not just completely moving out in linear fashion. It's still building kind of on the west side of this. So this is not going to just all move out nice and neat like it appeared that it might. And there's even some redevelopment there near Hayes. I'm going to check out the KDOT camera there near Hayes on I-70 and see if it's filling in there, if it's actually snowing heavily, or what do we have going on. Yeah, it's snowing lightly there in Hayes at this point. All right, downtown Topeka, there's a snow plow, thank you. And downtown Emporia, it's snowed at least 5.5 inches. It's probably closer to 6 or more at this point. There's Council Grove where it's still snowing and will continue to snow much of the evening. All right, so I'm going to break this over to the model, and then in a moment here we're going to break off the live stream. So there's the model showing us through 7 p.m. still snowing. And as we get closer to midnight, we finally get the snow past Concordia. It looks like this is going to hold on longer, and it looked like we might have a break in the middle of the day here. Now it just doesn't look like the break's going to happen probably at all. So it's going to continue to snow on and off this evening across much of the area. And as far as additional snow, areas like Topeka up to Marysville, an additional 1 to 3 is certainly possible in what's already fallen. Burlington down to the Yates Center area, Eureka, Pittsburgh could see an additional 4 or 5 inches of snow. It's a real possibility. So again, the snow is going to continue on and off through the evening, and it'll stay extremely cold through the entire weekend. And I do want you to keep in mind, the snow will end for sure by tomorrow morning, but I want you to remember that on Monday morning, we could have wind chill values of -10 to -20. So if your kids have school, keep in mind, I am not saying that it's going to be canceled on Monday morning, but what I am saying is in the past, in situations that I can remember that are similar to this, something like this could result in a delayed start. I'm not saying it will. I'm saying what you should do is make sure you check WIBW.com/closings and just see if your children's school is impacted, or if you have other activities, you may have something that's impacted there. You could have some closings and cancellations for that. That's a possibility as well. But on Monday morning, just make sure that you're checking in to see if you have a closing or cancellation on Monday morning, because you certainly could. For this evening, the snow continues. We'll have more snowfall updates and forecasts coming up on WIBW.com, on TV, social media, and all that. And thanks for joining us here for the live stream. We'll see you again in a little bit.